Welcome everyone, this is Andre's Restart, and today we have some pretty big news. So both Eurogamer and VideoGamesChronicle are reporting that Nintendo revealed, behind closed doors to developers, tech demos for Nintendo Switch 2. And from what we're hearing of these reports, it's pretty darn impressive. So that's what we're talking about today. But before going forward, let me point out that we are aiming to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you do enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. With your help, it just might be possible. So there are several nuggets that are coming from both Eurogamer and VideoGamesChronicle here that I think are telling a very compelling picture in terms of what we should maybe expect for Nintendo Switch 2. So let's first go over some of the little details that have come from the Eurogamer report, and then we'll go over some extra details from VGC. So all of this took place during Gamescom last month. Developer presentations for Switch 2 took place behind closed doors. Eurogamer understands, with partners shown tech demos of how well the system is designed to run. One Switch 2 demo is a souped-up version of Switch launch title Zelda Breath of the Wild, designed to hit the Switch 2's beefier target specs. And they put in parentheses, to be clear though, this is just a tech demo, there is no suggestion the game will be re-released. I do find it very curious that they're showing off a better looking version of Breath of the Wild, especially after we just got news that apparently there are no current plans to bring DLC to Tears of the Kingdom. I've been speculating that they might have some sort of enhanced version of Tears of the Kingdom prepared for Switch 2 later down the road. This tech demo doesn't necessarily confirm or deny that, but it just kind of stirs the pot a little bit and it gets me thinking. But there's more significant information in this article, so let me get to that. A recent report pinned Switch 2's arrival for the latter part of next year, with development kits now in the hands of some key partners. This chimed with what Eurogamer had also previously heard, though on timing I understand Nintendo is keen to launch the system sooner if possible. So this is what's really interesting about this. We've all been assuming it's going to be coming out in the second half of 2024, most leaning towards the holiday. But here Eurogamer is saying that Nintendo would like to release the system sooner if possible. So this opens the door for possibly even before the second half of next year. Or maybe it could simply mean that we might be seeing it sooner than the very holidays. Maybe this idea of it coming out maybe June, August, or September is not so far-fetched. Which to me makes a lot of sense because I would think that Nintendo would want to come out with a series of games, have a strong lineup going into the holiday, and not just jump in with a system in a single game or two at the holiday. And while I've been expecting that 3D Mario would be the launch title for Switch 2, if Switch 2 is to be coming out sooner than expected, then Metroid Prime 4 becomes a curious situation as well. When do they release that? Is it a cross-gen title? Is it beforehand? There's a lot of debate here, and obviously we won't know until Nintendo gives us some actual details. But basically what this Eurogamer article is telling us is that, yes, Switch 2 is more powerful, it's running better versions of games that were on Switch, and potentially Nintendo may release it sooner than the holidays of next year. But the VideoGamesChronicle report adds a few more details that really give us a lot more context for what's going on. One Switch 2 demo is understood to have an improved version of the Switch launch title Zelda Breath of the Wild running at a higher frame rate and resolution than the original game did, on hardware targeting the new console specs. But there is also no suggestion the game will actually be re-released. So this sounds similar to what Eurogamer said, but the difference here is that they specify that the game is running at a higher frame rate and resolution. Could they be running Breath of the Wild at 4K, 60 frames per second? Perhaps even with less pop-in and things of that nature? It's exciting to think about, and I kind of would like to see a better version of Breath of the Wild and maybe Tears of the Kingdom and other big Nintendo games running on Switch 2. But to be clear, both Eurogamer and VideoGamesChronicle clarified that there was nothing from the tech demos that was suggesting that this would be playable on Switch 2. From their perspective, this meant more of a showcase of what this system can do. But this is where things get even crazier. Another VGC source claimed that Nintendo showcased Epic's impressive the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, originally released to showcase the power of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X in 2021, running on target specs for its next console. The demo is said to have been running using NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling technology, with advanced ray tracing enabled and visuals comparable to Sony's and Microsoft's current-gen consoles. However, it should be noted this does not mean the Switch successor will sport raw power anywhere near that of PS5 or Xbox Series X, which aren't portable devices. So this is another big deal. What this suggests to us is that they are showcasing visuals that are in the same realm as PlayStation 5 and Series X. And ultimately what this is going to mean is that third-party games, in theory, should be brought over to Switch 2. And that the visual impact is going to be comparable to these other systems. And I use the terminology or phrasing visual impact because, as they said in the article, the idea isn't to suggest that the raw power of Switch 2 is going to be like these systems that are far larger and are not portable. The Switch 2 is going to have to be a portable device that will be somewhat affordable, so they can only do so much. But what's really exciting here is that they are saying that it's using NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling technology and ray tracing. So if you don't know what DLSS is, it stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling, and it's a technology that NVIDIA uses to make games run and look better. Basically, artificial intelligence AI looks at an image and improves it from what it should be from a resolution perspective. So by doing this, developers can target a lower spec range, but the games will look like they're at a higher spec range. So basically, what these articles are telling us is that Switch 2, while maybe not as literally objectively powerful as PS5 or Series X, because of some latest technologies like DLSS, the overall visual impact is going to be comparable. It's going to be in that realm. And when you account for the fact that at times you're going to be playing in portable mode, these games are going to look fantastic. And also when docked, it's probably going to have something that feels like a proper home console experience. There have been rumors that Switch 2 might be, from a power perspective, somewhere somewhat close to maybe PS4 Pro. I'm not sure about that. I feel like it might be a little bit weaker, but maybe close. But thanks to these different technologies, the overall visual impact, what we're going to experience and enjoy, is going to feel like something close to a PS5 or Series X. And that's going to be extremely impressive for a portable device. And what this might mean for actual Nintendo games, oh, I am just excited thinking about the possibilities. How is Metroid Prime 4 going to look? Are we going to get visual enhancements for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? The articles don't say we will, but maybe we will. I don't know. It at least gets me excited to think about what's possible for the next big Zelda game. And that next 3D Mario, which I believe will be a launch title for Switch 2, I think it's going to rock our worlds. I understand we've already talked about graphics for Switch 2 earlier this week, but with this extra information, it seems to really be kind of pinning it more along the lines of what the next-gen systems are. Like the Switch 2 is going to have visuals that feel up to par. Maybe not exactly, but being up to par is something that Nintendo hasn't been in a long time. And what they can do with their games, with that kind of power, is very exciting to think about. Especially when you consider that this report is telling us that Switch 2 will run Unreal Engine 5. So we've seen some Nintendo games like Pikmin, for example, running on Unreal Engine 4, and it looks amazing. So there will be Switch 2 games, including Nintendo published titles, internally developed Nintendo titles, that will be using Unreal Engine 5, that will have DLSS to really up the resolution and keep the performance running well, while also using an advanced form of ray tracing. So the lighting effects we're going to see in these games are going to stand far above what we've seen on prior Nintendo systems. And while it was exciting to think that maybe we could see something that looks close to the enhanced version of Final Fantasy VII Remake like it was on PS5, but to hear about the Matrix tech demo being used to showcase this, that tells us that it's going to be even closer to PS5 and Series X. And that's a big deal. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. This is Andres Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care.